And welcome back to Have a Good Time. This is your host, John Davey. So, just in keeping with my new system here of trying to talk for 10 minutes every day into this microphone, I'm going to squeeze it in here in the last little more than half an hour of today, which is Sunday, March 19th. We'll see in the future if timestamps are necessary or not, but for right now, I was just saying it off the top of my head. So today, me and my beautiful fiance, Mary, we hosted a brunch, as we usually do on a lot of Sundays, and some of our friends came over, and it was a particularly good one. It's a lot of fresh food. I made some bacon, some eggs, a veggie scramble, put some potatoes in the oven, and things like that. Other friends brought fruit, and we had drinks and talked about all sorts of things. And we had a great conversation about individualism versus collectivism, and sort of broadly spidered out from there into all of these other topics. The most interesting to me was one of talking about education and sort of the role that the new role that the internet plays in terms of education, and we had some lively back and forth about that, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and it was a good I was able to sort of work in some basic economic arguments into my broader argument that choice is the sort of the essence, or like the ideal. That's what we want to shoot for in terms of education and its move forward. And we also talked about how there is sort of this battle going on right now between people who stand to lose a lot by people like me saying, hey, like, you can learn as much from the internet, and maybe with a little bit of guidance from your smart friends, as you could from putting yourself into thousands and thousands of dollars worth of debt, and also all the opportunity cost involved in that. So we had a lively conversation, and it was really it was a good debate, and I think everybody involved in that sort of walked away from it having learned something. I hope I certainly did. We were talking about new storage, new ways of storing data, and like how you can store information now in DNA, and there were some good jokes sort of floating around that, which I don't really have the energy to sort of try to recreate right now. But wow, I am so funny. But so let's see what else happened today. Took a nap. I've been watching this show with my fiance called Shameless, and if you haven't heard of it, if you have Netflix, I think it's worth a watch. It's a little bit raunchy, a little bit gritty, but it's I guess it's based on a British television show, but we got finished all the seasons that were on Netflix, and then we started a free membership on Showtime that lasts for 7 days, so we can just watch the newest season that's out right now. And let me tell you, it is quite a powerful show. The messaging in it is kind of pretty much unlike anything that I've seen on television, or in a TV show, probably since ever. Like, It's a pretty powerful show, and the character development in it is really good. There's some weaknesses to it, I would say, but just overall, it's a great show, and everybody should watch it if you get a chance. Unless you're, young, too young to be seeing boobies and stuff some of the time. So, yeah, great show, amazing. Let's see what else. So, maybe it's a little too early to talk about this, but I'm gonna anyway. My band is playing essentially what's gonna be its last sort of official show on Wednesday, and there's been sort of a not disillusion, maybe some disillusionment. There's going to be what's the word? Dissolution. What's something coming apart? The band broke up, and I have mixed feelings about that. These are guys that started playing with me shortly after I moved here to Michigan, and so it's kind of that band has been sort of part of the backdrop of almost my entire experience here, living here so far. So in a way, it's I do feel like I'm losing some sort of foundational aspect of my time here in Marquette. Then on the other hand, I do feel as if I am relieved in some ways to not like I'm sort of accepting or bringing on these other responsibilities in my life right now, and the responsibility of sort of like managing a band is something that's gratifying in its own ways, but also kind of because the band is like sort of taking a back seat to other pursuits at this time, where it doesn't feel like the amount of work and energy that's necessary to keep the band up and running it doesn't seem like those responsibilities are worth what we're getting out of it, at least for me at this point. And then also there was a little bit of strife and internally in the band, which I think is not necessarily a bad thing, but I also don't want to lose friendships over it. So, which I don't think it was necessarily anywhere near that point, but I will say some of that strife within the context of the band has been there kind of since the beginning. I think I said this to my guitarist. I think that some of that internal strife within the band had, in a way, maybe even made us a better band than we might have been if we all sort of got along. There was a little bit of clash of personality types and goals and stuff like that. So I think within the context of like the framework of that band, some of that a little bit of like chaos was actually good and made us sort of sharp and exciting. And there was sort of like an electricity to that band when we were on point. We were like really on point. So I will miss that. But I do feel relieved in some ways. I feel like I can kind of use some of that time. And it's not like I was pouring a bunch of time into it or anything, but I can use some of that, reclaim some of those hours in a week, and do stuff like this. Have some other sort of creative outlet and something that I can get into that I guess requires less responsibility in the context of other being responsible for other people's time and stuff like that. And this I think feels a little more like a home base doing these podcasts than maybe it would otherwise. So I think that's it for me for this evening. It's been great chatting with you. If you feel like it, leave some comments in the comment section and maybe pitch some questions at me. I'm happy to kind of discuss people are interested in. If you have any specific questions for me, I can maybe start doing, listener answering listener questions. And you can find us. Our email address is haveagoodtimepodcast@gmail.com. So you can send some questions to there, or just leave them in the comments section, and I'll read them, and I can attribute them to people or not. So thanks very much for listening. I hope you guys have a good time. This has been your host, John Davey. Thanks for listening. Have a great night.